Rick Lagina carefully climbs down the ladder into the garden shaft while Roger steadies it for him. At nearly 100 feet below the surface, a large section of what may be the legendary treasure tunnel has finally been exposed. As Rick looks around, he is stunned by what he sees. Massive wooden beams line the structure, each one different from the other. Scott points out the impressive size of the timbers, and Rick feels a chill realizing that this is not just speculation or interpretation anymore. The tunnel is real. The team studies the beams closely, noticing their shapes, widths, and rounded edges. Because earlier carbon-14 testing dated wood from this area back to the 17th century, the discovery could represent a crucial piece of the timeline behind the famous Money Pit mystery. Determined to learn more, the team decides to carefully remove some of the large timbers so they can be analyzed in greater detail. Soon after, metal detection expert Gary Drayton joins the group to search the newly exposed area for artifacts. With his detector in hand, he scans the ground and surrounding soil, hoping to uncover objects connected to the tunnel's construction. At first, there are no signals, but eventually the detector begins to beep. Gary retrieves a small piece of metal whose material is not immediately clear. The artifact is set aside to be examined later in the laboratory. Moments later, another signal appears, and Gary uncovers a shaped piece of metal that might have been used during the building of the tunnel. If confirmed, this could help determine exactly when the tunnel was constructed and who built it. Meanwhile, Surveyor Steve Guptill begins placing control points so the team can map the tunnel accurately for the first time. As work continues, one of the wooden beams is finally pulled free. The timber shows clear marks from an adze, an ancient cutting tool used for shaping wood in shipbuilding and construction before mechanized tools replaced it in the 18th century. This detail strongly suggests that the tunnel could indeed date back hundreds of years. Rick holds the timber with excitement, imagining the unknown builders who once stood in the darkness carving the wood and constructing the mysterious passage. If this tunnel truly leads somewhere significant, it could be the key to solving the Oak Island mystery once and for all. Later, Rick and Gary move to another area of the island, known as Lot 21, where they continue searching for clues connected to the original discovery of the Money Pit in 1795. Daniel McGinnis, one of the young men who first found the pit, once lived on this land. Using the metal detector, Gary soon finds several promising signals. Among them is an ornate, jeweled brooch with a red gem set into its design. The weight and craftsmanship of the object suggest it could be very old. If it predates later searches on the island, it may provide valuable evidence about who might have visited Oak Island centuries ago. The investigation then shifts to the mysterious swamp at the southern end of the island. Rick, Gary, and heavy equipment operator Billy Gerhardt search the muddy terrain for more clues. Over the years, the team has discovered several ship-related artifacts in this swamp, including pieces of wood that have been carbon dated to centuries in the past. While digging, Billy uncovers a curved wooden piece that appears to have come from a boat. Its shape resembles a runner or rib that would have protected the hull of a small vessel when pulled onto shore. The discovery adds to the growing evidence that ships once operated in this area. As they continue digging, the team notices several wooden boards arranged in both horizontal and vertical patterns, forming what looks like a buried wall or retaining structure. This discovery immediately reminds them of the late treasure hunter Fred Nolan, who, decades earlier, believed the swamp might have been artificially created to hide something valuable. If this wooden structure is part of the same feature Nolan described, It could support the theory that the swamp was engineered centuries ago as part of a larger operation. To investigate further, Rick invites geoscientist Dr. Ian Spooner to examine the site. Spooner studies the surrounding sediment and points out layers of distinctive red soil that also appear beneath a nearby stone road, believed to be around 500 years old. If the same material is found around the wooden structure, it may help date the feature and connect it to other known constructions on the island. The team begins to speculate that the area may once have been a loading platform or dock where cargo was transferred between ships and land. As the day ends, Rick reflects on the growing number of discoveries across the island, from ancient timbers in the treasure tunnel to mysterious artifacts and structures hidden in the swamp. Evidence suggests that activity on Oak Island may date back hundreds or even more than 1,000 years. Yet the biggest question remains unanswered. Who built these structures, and what were they hiding? For Rick and the team, each new clue brings them one step closer to unraveling one of history's most enduring treasure mysteries.